Daniel Stern, 66, has been labeled a funny guy by Barack Obama, driven 100 miles per hour in Robert Redford's Porsche, been battered with a rubber crowbar by Joe Pesci, and flown solo with Mel Gibson on his private jet's inaugural flight. He is now sharing these and many more tales in his sad and humorous new memoir, Home and Alone, which will be available from Viva Editions on May 21st. Since his own parents implanted that mentality in him when he was a child, Stern has considered helping youngsters become the best versions of themselves to be crucial to his personal and professional goal. As such, all earnings from the book will go to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. My dad's a social worker who worked on juvenile delinquency programs, and my mom has always been about youth empowering, he told People. I was an empowered kid from the beginning, and then I ended up in these movies that are about empowering kids to be better and bigger and stronger than they thought, so the message just lined up. Stern is now starring in For All Mankind. He is perhaps best remembered for his appearances in City Slickers, Home Alone as Marv, The Wonder Years as the narrator, and Rookie of the Year as the director. Off-screen, he works as a bronze sculptor, a farmer of avocados, a cattle rancher, and a proud grandfather and father alongside his 45-year wife, Lore. But at last he has chosen to identify as an artist, regardless of whether he is sculpting, acting, writing, or directing. It's such a horrible word to say because it sounds pretentious, Stern quips. But being an artist is acceptable. It's how people earn a living. It benefits society in some way. You're not merely poking your head in and acting like you work. I've thus come to terms with the fact that being an artist is a part of my life. Get the best of people, from celebrity news to gripping human interest stories, sent straight to your inbox by subscribing to their free daily newsletter. He attempted to write his book without giving too much thought to what others would think of it, viewing it as merely working in a different medium. Regarding his approach to the process, he adds, "I'm going to learn how to write a book, I'm going to make it funny, and I'm going to do the best I can. I've told stories in movies, so I'm not sure if it will work out or not. I've sculpted things. This was a new artistic attempt for me, but I have done other kinds of artistic stuff." Being able to share the tales that people ask him the most about was also enjoyable, especially after filming his now famous Home Alone sequences. According to Stern, being a part of the movie's enduring influence really changed my world and my life. When I was a kid, every year Wizard of Oz came on at the holiday times, and we'd gather around and we'd watch The Wizard of Oz, he recalls. Now, it's a family tradition for Home Alone to air during the holidays. It's incredible that I get to have a small role in their lives. It really is a great honor. Stern describes what it was like to shoot one of the most heart-stopping scenes in the movie in the exclusive extract from his new book that is included below. The scenario where I have a spider crawl on my face has to be the craziest one. When the time came to film that sequence, I thought the creative prop department would create a realistic-looking tarantula, but when I arrived on set, all that was there was a rubber bug with no mechanism to make it move or crawl. At that point, they presented me to the Tarantula Wrangler, a very enormous, menacing-looking spider. I was informed by the Wrangler that it was probably okay because they had tested it on him and nothing horrible had happened. When I inquired how he trains tarantulas, he replied that although they aren't truly trainable, I should be all right as long as I don't make any abrupt movements. He described the location of the spider's poison, how it bites, and how long a bite will kill you. He informed me that even if the poison was removed, the tarantula would still perish. I said that I understood, but perhaps we ought to consider taking out the poison since if the tarantula bit me, I would not survive. However, I could sense that was not going to occur. I was lying on the floor in the scene, screaming in terror when I finally saw the spider creep over my face. Until then, I had been unaware of it climbing up my body. The Wrangler dismissed my worries, stating that spiders are deaf. I was worried that if I screamed during the scenario, the tarantula might become frightened and attack me. Since spiders don't have ears as far as I'm aware, I suppose that could be the case, but I've never heard this question before in my life. I would just have to cross my fingers. They made it crawl over my face before the camera started rolling to help it get acquainted to the surroundings, and I started to feel at ease. By this stage of the shoot, I was enjoying the challenge of every single stunt and joke and was willing to take a few risks. I could really let it go once I was at ease. They released the tarantula upon my face and rolled the cameras. It wandered aimlessly, but whenever it found a decent camera angle, I was prepared to move. It was much more entertaining when the crew wriggled and watched it flow all over my head and into my lips. I believe I came quite close to making the scream sound like the woman who was assaulted in the shower in the movie Psycho. After obtaining those pictures, we proceeded to the equally perilous sequence in which Joe Pesci strikes me with a crowbar. Joe had a rubber crowbar, and although I had a pad covering my stomach, he still managed to get me rather good a few times on exposed spots. Being defeated by the man himself is truly an honor. We had so much fun. All rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced in any form or by any means, electronic or mechanical, including photocopying or recording, or by information storage or retrieval systems, without written permission from the publisher, with the exception of brief passages that may be included in reviews published in newspapers, magazines, radio, television, or online. Published in the United States by Start Midnight, LLC, 221, River Street, 9th floor, Hoboken, New Jersey, 07030, through Viva Editions. Wherever books are sold, Home and Alone is currently available for pre-order. It releases on May 21st.